This is Hot Mike. Hot Mike. On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 on a busy Friday morning, ready to rock and roll. More high school football chatter coming up in a little bit. We preview the Minot Shanley game that we'll have right here on WDAY Extra. Later tonight, we'll do that in about 15 minutes. We were on the air yesterday when the inbox blew up with an email from USA Hockey with the announcement of the newest class that's going into the United States Hockey Hall of Fame this year. Of course, the Hockey Hall of Fame in Eveleth, Minnesota, and it'll include Moorhead's Matt Cullen as a member of the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame in 2024, which we already knew it up here that he was one of the greatest American hockey players ever, and that award now is official, and he's good enough to join us this morning from the Twin Cities. I haven't seen him in forever. And I remember one time, I don't know if you remember this, the day you got traded to Ottawa. I called you. You answered literally as you were getting on the airplane. And I knew you'd be able to do this. It's great to see you. Congratulations, man. How you been?
Thanks, Dom. Yeah, really good. Things are great. Yeah. Kind of a fun little window here, a couple of days of some excitement, but yeah, things are good. Really good.
All right. So where were you and what were your reaction when you got the phone call?
Well, so we got the call probably, I want to say maybe a month ago, just to kind of talk through it. So I was actually at home. So that's a pretty fun call to get. Obviously, I was not something I was ever expecting, and pretty cool to get it. And then now the last kind of month it's actually been kind of fun to sort of think back and reflect on all the people that kind of help you along the way. So, and then obviously tomorrow's a fun day when it kind of becomes a little bit more of a reality and it becomes public.
Who called? Who was on the other end of the phone?
So Pat Kelleher
Yep.
called, and so it was actually fun. I ran into him last week. I was in Michigan, bringing my middle son out to Plymouth. And so I actually got to spend a little time with him and get to know him a little bit. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, it's just a cool, obviously a cool call to get.
You have worn the USA sweater multiple times. I know how much representing your country has meant to you. To be recognized with this honor, just describe what that means to you.
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. It's just, like I said, it's one of those things you don't really feel probably worthy of. It's, you look up at some of the names that have played, that are born in the U.S. It's some pretty unbelievable names, and they're guys that I grew up watching and looking up to. So cool, and kind of hard to honestly put into words. It's something I think that as you get older, you probably appreciate more when you look back on. But it's definitely something that just means a lot, and it's starting to sink in a little bit, and it's a really cool deal.
So the ceremony's going to happen in Pittsburgh, which I think is fitting as well. Tell me about that and how much. I remember when you signed there, how much that city means to you and your family.
Well, yeah, that makes it just so cool to be able to do it in Pittsburgh. And Kevin Stevens is also coming in too, and he's a great guy. I've gotten to know him a little bit with the Penguins the last few years, and just an awesome human and an unbelievable hockey player. But it just adds a lot having it in Pitt, which, obviously a place that meant a ton to me, and those years in Pittsburgh were probably a couple of the best of my career, just with my family there, and just the winning and the group of people that we had. So it's adds a whole nother level of meaning being in Pittsburgh.
Your sons have the ultimate bragging rights, because I remember you telling me this, that they got to grow up and, hey, I'm buddies with Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, right?
Yeah. They had a good life back then, man. They did school at the practice arena. They had built a brand new training center the first year I was there. So they did their school in the arena. They were eating lunch with the team chef. Like they were skating with the skills coach, the Penguin skills coach, who's a really good friend. And they had a good. Trevor Daly had a young boy who he was in there too. So we had 4 kids in the school, and they had the run of the rink. So it was great. It was so fun.
I want to ask about when you felt you were. I'm in the NHL. I'm a professional hockey player. I feel like I'm playing the game. I'm fitting in. How early in your career do you remember feeling that way?
How early is probably it's probably how late. It's funny. I probably, I had 5.5 years in Anaheim. I had a couple good years in there, but it was a struggle, finding my footing in the league. It was a hard adjustment for me. Getting into the league just 2 years out of high school was a big step, and it was a different game then. It was a lot harder, more physical game, slower game, tougher game. Probably, honestly, the year in Carolina
Yeah.
when we won, that was probably my 8th or 9th year, but that was probably the year that I was like, man, I feel like I belong.
And that's when the rules changed as well. And when you saw that, did you know, okay, this is going to benefit my game more?
100%. And
Yeah.
that was kind of, the game was trending that direction a little bit. And then
Yeah.
when those rule changes happened, it became a way more skilled, which was the game that I obviously grew up playing and wanted to play. So it helped me, and the game got fast in a hurry. So luckily I had been working on my skating and trying to improve my speed all my whole career. And so it was just like a continuation of that. And I think being able to skate at a relatively high level allowed me to stick around for a while.
Seeing Florida and Edmonton battle this past year for the Stanley Cup, and when the Panthers win it, and to see the emotion of that, you did that 3 times over. I know the first one is always special, but was there different with the other two? Did that mean more or not so much?
It's funny. They're all so unique in their
Yeah.
own way. I mean, the Carolina one was just completely unexpected. Just kind of a put together group of guys that a lot of guys were kind of cast offs from other teams. So it was just such a fun year. Nobody had any expectations. And actually, ESPN, the magazine at that time, ranked us as 30th out of 30 going into the season for probability of winning the cup. So it was just like a magical year. Everything came together. And for me, it was just a fun year because it was kind of my first year of really having like a high end season. And then going to Pittsburgh it felt like a gift that first year. Halfway through the season, we were out of the playoffs, changed coaches, ended up winning the cup. Probably the best team I've ever been a part of. That last half of the season, we were just so good. And then the next year was probably the hardest one, just coming back with almost the same team, being expected to be really good. That was a hard year.
Yeah.
We had to really battle that whole year, and it was just such a sense of relief winning that last one. But man, it's funny because it's like looking back on your kids. Kind of, they're all just like a little bit different in their own way, and you appreciate them for different things. And they were all just such great experiences. It's just like you look back and you're just so thankful to be a part of it.
Well, I remember visiting with you during those series with the Capitals. You'll probably remember that forever, right? Those were playoff grinds when you played Washington.
100%. It felt like whoever won that series was going to go to the final. Every year, wherever we played them. I think we played them maybe in the second round the one year, and then the third round the other year. And they were some great series. They were so good. I mean, they had so many good players and such a good rivalry. It was so fun to be a part of that. Those were such fun series. I'll never forget those.
That 6th game, the one you won it in Nashville. Was there any time? I mean, how close you guys were? A, to go to overtime, and B, we don't want any part of a Game 7 again.
Yeah, that was fun. That was such a cool one. The little snapshots that you remember. Patrick Hornquist was playing that series, so he played his entire career with Nashville.
Yeah.
He was playing with like a broken finger that was like broken to the point that like it was like moving around.
Oh.
He could feel it moving around in his glove, and he was. It was so cool. He scored the goal late in the game, and he was so like overcome with emotion. He couldn't even go out. The coach called him to go back out with the empty net, and he couldn't go. He was like tears in his eyes. It was fun to see a guy like that who he was the last pick in the draft, Sidney Crosby's year. And he's the one that scored the goal to win the cup. I mean, just some of those things that you remember and appreciate. A guy just pouring his heart out and getting the game-winning goal. Yeah, those were fun. I mean, you just think back on all that stuff. It's just it's fun to think about it.
Did you ever think 42? You were 42 years old?
Yeah, no, I did not. I did not. I did not. I didn't think I would ever play in the NHL, let alone, that, but, that's, it's fun. I was really lucky, like early in my career, earlier probably than most people, I was kind of tuned into the nutrition stuff and, taking care of your body. Like I had Paul Correa for a roommate in the NHL my first 5 years, and he was so far ahead of his time. I mean, he was stretching every night. His nutrition was so dialed in. We would fly in late at night, get into a city at like 3 a.m. He would get up at 9 a.m. the next day and have a workout before we'd go to practice, and he would drag me along. And so I was kind of lucky to have some people like that in my life early on to teach me the value of what it meant to be a pro, what it took to be good and separate yourself. So I think back on guys like that, I was pretty lucky to be around that early. Otherwise, you never know.
Couple minutes left here with Matt Cullen. Now with your sons playing, we still follow it closely here, Matt, to see the rise of youth hockey around here, the amount of talent. There's more spuds that are playing Division I hockey. How much pride do you take in that, seeing what is spawned here over the last 10 to 15 years?
Yeah, I'm so proud of where the program is in Moorhead. And like so many of us benefited from the time and effort that people like my dad and Terry Shercliffe and Dennis Bushy. And I mean, there's just like a lot of people that poured their heart and soul into the program when we were kids. And it's so fun now, full circle, to come back and do it with our own kids. We have a bunch of guys that played kind of in the 90s and had those good playoff runs, and they've put just a ton of time into the program, and it's fun to see all the kids coming out. I mean, we've had, I think, 3 kids get to the NTDP program here, and we've had a bunch of kids move on to Division I hockey. I mean, it's cool. It's like it is a good feeling to see where the program is. It's heading the right way.
And seeing Will Borgen playing in Seattle and having a great career there with the Kraken, that's just gotta. I mean, the Spud flag is flying still in the NHL, man.
It's great. Yeah, and I think there'll be more coming. And it's really fun. It is really, really fills me with a lot of pride. Just the program is in such a good spot.
I have not asked you about your relationship with the Force. How did that all come about, of getting in with the USHL team in town?
Yeah, so I kind of just got to know the guys out there, and when Ace Brandt passed away, they had just asked if I would consider coming in and helping on the hockey side of things. And yeah, it was something that works. I'm home. It allows me to be a part of a really high level of hockey. They're really good people. I mean, the organization was already super well established as a top group in the league, and so it's been fun for me. I've actually learned a ton. It's given me a new experience of kind of being in a leadership position in an organization, so learning some different sides of things. And Carrie Eads has been a lot of fun to work with, and there's a whole good group of people there, so I've actually really enjoyed it. And obviously the team being really good the last couple of years has made it fun too.
What's the biggest you notice now in junior hockey? I know the skill level is crazy from when you were playing, but what's is there another, is it the weight training? Is it the off-season work? What's the biggest difference from when you were playing juniors to now?
Well, so it's everything. I mean, the league has just skyrocketed, and it's just like the state of youth sports, probably. I think these kids are so much more talented and skilled coming out of their youth programs. It's more teaching them how to play a cooperative team game, because they all are so individually skilled. So it's getting them on the same page and teaching them what it takes to get to the next level. It's a fun level because they're all so eager to learn, and they all want to become great college players and eventually go on to play in the NHL. The USHL has gotten so much better and stronger. Like when I was coming out of high school, it probably wasn't at that level, and now to see where it's at, I mean, it's as good a league of junior hockey as there is in the world.
Was there another sport? Was there any other sport that you wanted to play besides hockey, or no?
Yeah, I played baseball and football in high school. I was a horrible golfer, didn't get into that much. And but yeah, football I played until I was a sophomore. I got hurt a little bit right before the hockey season, and then it was kind of like, well, probably time to be done with that. I liked football a lot. And then baseball I played all through my high school senior year. I love baseball. That would have been my second favorite sport, probably.
Last thing, I know speeches aren't your thing, but you're gonna have to give one. Have you thought about it yet, and what you're gonna say?
No, I mean, they're not my thing. Yes. I don't know. It'll be good. It's an opportunity to kind of acknowledge people that helped you along the way. And when you think back through a long career, man, there's so many people that helped you along the way. So it'll be good in that regard. I'll be a nervous wreck, but it'll be good to go through it and acknowledge some people that really helped out along the way.
Do you have a time limit? Do you know? Or
I won't be pushing the envelope on that one, I can promise you.
It's so good to see you, man. Thanks so much for the time. Congratulations, and we'll talk soon, all right?
All right. Thanks, Dom. Great talking to you.
Good to see you, bud. There he goes. Matt Cullen, the newest member of the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame, joining us this morning. The official ceremony will be on Wednesday, December the 4th in Pittsburgh. He'll be going into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. Awesome stuff for a great dude. We'll break. We come back. We get ready for a big night of high school football, including a showdown here in town. The rematch of the Dakota Bowl. Minot and Shanley. Chauncey Hendershot, head coach of the Magi, will join us when Hot Mike returns after this.